This is the plaintiff, Edelberta Rodriguez. She says she and the defendant have been neighbors for 30 years, and 20 years ago, the guy planted a tree, which was very close to her property line. She knew there would be a problem with the tree one day, and sure enough, that thing has been a terrible nuisance ever since. She had to hire men to prune it because one day after a snowstorm, the massive thing blocked her front door and trapped her in her own home like a prisoner. She's suing her nasty neighbor for $287.22, the amount it cost to free herself. This is the defendant, Louis Caputo. He says it's a sin his neighbor has resorted to a lawsuit like this because a freak early season snowstorm caused one of his trees to require some pruning. He tries very hard to get along with his neighbors, but he's not about to let someone bulldoze him into paying for something he has no responsibility for. He's accused of making a neighbor weep like a willow.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. These litigants were neighbors for 30 years. He planted a tree on his property. She says it almost swallowed up her house. But the defendant says the problem was a freak snowstorm, so she needs to chill. It's the case of my tree's got junk in the trunk.
Thank you, Douglas. Edelberta Rodriguez, you are suing Louis and Lillian Caputo. You'll be representing both you and your, I guess that's your wife?
It's my wife.
For $287.22 in tree pruning bills, lawyer's fees, and postage in order to sue him because your neighbor has a tree growing onto your yard and affecting your peace and ability to enter and exit your home, according to you. What happened?
Many years ago, maybe from 20 to 30 years ago, he planted that tree about 15 inches from the property line. Oh, about 40 at least.
Are you
about
serious?
40.
Were you friendly at one point?
Oh, yes.
So go on.
Okay, so he planted that tree, and when I saw that they were planting the tree, I went to him and I asked him what kind of tree was that. He could not tell me the name of the tree. And if a tree is going to be planted 15 inches from your property line, you know, the tree will grow, it will expand. I told him that I didn't want the tree to be too big because I didn't want the tree covering my house. He says to me, it is my tree, it is my house, and I planted whatever I wanted. That is fine, it is his tree, it is his house in the other side. But I believe that I have the right to keep to have nothing over my property line to cover my house.
What gave you the impression that you have that legal right to have no trees grow branches over your...
I have talked to lawyers before.
What'd they tell you?
I have the right to have things clear in my...
That's right.
In my,
you can draw a line from hell to heaven.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Well, the tree right now is about 15 feet taller than my house.
Okay.
And my house is 29 feet tall.
Okay.
I have asked them to prune the tree many, many times. They haven't done a thing. I offer him to give him a little money. I'm not rich. I offer him to pay him a little money so he will prune the tree. Mr. Caputo felt insulted. And he told me he didn't want to talk with me.
Okay.
Fine, he doesn't have to talk with me if he doesn't want.
Why did you not just hire somebody to prune the tree?
I did.
From hell to heaven. Why didn't you just do that?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yes. We had sandy storm, and the branches of the tree were hitting my house that I could not stay upstairs. I was scared to death.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the tree?
Yes, I do.
May I see it? You don't have color pictures, just black and white?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Can I have the color pictures?
And you also have color pictures. You also have color pictures. I have evidence of everything, and I have pictures of everything.
Okay. So this is the only black and white one. This is your house?
That is my house, yes.
Okay. And this is the offending tree?
That is the offending tree, yes.
Okay.
See, the tree is planted too close.
Okay. What is your problem? That these branches are touching your house?
They were on top of the house until I cut them.
Okay. And then you cut them. And then, but the issue is you cut them, but you want him to pay for you cutting them.
Yes, exactly.
Because that's the next step that I'm having a little bit of difficulty with.
Okay.
Why does he have to pay for you cutting them?
Before the tree was cut, we sent him letters. I sent him letter. I talked with him. The lawyer sent him letters. He didn't want to listen to us. He didn't want to cut it at all. I believe on the 17th of February, I called somebody to come and cut the trees. I was scared because 2 days after the storm, we had a snowstorm. And all the branches from the tree, or the ones that were in my side, they fell on top of my front door and in the handrails.
This is a healthy tree, though, right? This tree
It is a very healthy tree.
Okay,
it is a very healthy tree. So they fell because of the weight of the snow. The branches fell on the side.
So finally in February, you hire somebody, they charge you $200. You tell him you need to pay it. He says, what do you say when she says
Not
you
a
need to
word.
pay it?
She didn't
He
tell
will
me
not pay
anything.
for
She
it.
sent me a bill.
Okay, and you then what?
Did nothing. I don't want to pay for it.
You ignored it. And then, so you hired a lawyer to send him a letter, which he ignored. Okay, and then your position on this is?
My position is that, first of all, what she said about not cutting the tree is not true. I trimmed it last summer. At the end of the summer, I had my son trim it. We borrowed a long pole with the clipper. It was trimmed then. It was trimmed after the storm. So the tree was trimmed. It's not true that it hasn't been trimmed. And also, she never offered to pay me anything to cut the tree.
Okay.
And I agreed to cut the tree. I said to her, I'll gladly cut the tree. I told my gardener, you got to wait. He said to wait until December or January because it's not a good time and he's busy. So I said, I'll have the tree cut. Now, we were on the driveway one day. She says, when are you going to cut the tree? As I told the gardener, he said he's going to come. Oh, you told the gardener, you keep saying you never do nothing, you and your wife.
Well,
So
that sounds true, though.
But it isn't true. I did trim the tree.
Well,
The tree was trimmed as much as we could reach. There was parts on the top that were very high.
Okay, I got it. So she thinks that because you hadn't trimmed it yet, you should have to pay the bill for the trimming. And your answer to that is?
Well, I have some evidence here that shows that, according to the law, the way I understand it is I'm not responsible for cutting it. She's got the right to cut anything on her side, but she doesn't have the right to come on my side and trim it right to the bark, which is what he did.
So are you allowed to trim your neighbor's trees to your property line? What do you think?
Yes, definitely, because I trim my neighbors all the time.
What did you tell me before?
I do land surveying the property lines.
Can you do it?
There's a fine line of what's agreed between the neighbors and then what's being just outright.
Can you do it right to the property line?
You can't do it up to the property line, yes.
Can I charge the other person for hiring you to do it?
No.
That was the worst no I've ever heard in my life, going inside the courtroom.
Here's what she has the right to do. From hell to heaven. See, you own the air rights. These are yours. But what you don't understand is you could sit there, you could trim that tree and make it look like this, like it's all like on his side, and then clean up from your hell to your heaven, and he can't complain about it. And that could end up killing his tree, and he can't complain about it. And that could end up making his tree look totally deficient, and he can't complain about it. But here's the thing you can't do. You can't make him pay. You have the right to trim the tree. You just don't have the right to make him pay. Those are two different things. You have the right to cut from here to there, but you don't have the right. You have the right to do that at your expense.
May I say something?
You can.
He tells me that if I cut anything from the tree, he will sue me. If the tree dies, he will sue me for whatever is.
Listen very carefully, because I want everybody to understand. Listen, you guys have been neighbors for longer than 90% of America's married. Okay? So, as we say in Spanish, vamos a acabar la fiesta en paz. Let's finish the party in peace, right?
Absolutely.
Listen, don't talk, listen. He has a right to plant a tree at the edge of his property line. That's what everybody does, because they don't want to take up their own property and then not have a yard.
It's in the center.
Everybody does that. Plus, they don't want to see your house, whatever. That's how they do it. It's within the setback. That's all. It's a legal tree. It is also legal for a tree to branch. And it is also legal for you to cut what is offending you, that is up and down your property line, up to the heavens, and you must pay for it. And if when you do that, it causes your tree to, oh, by the way, you can also go down to the roots too. Because if the roots are uplifting your wires or your playground or your whatever else, that's also offensive. So now you understand and he understands. He can grow his tree here, but not on your property. And you can go ahead and keep your property safe, but not go on his property to cut it. You can just stay on your property, cut it up and down, anything that's bothering you, and you cannot complain or sue her because she cuts the part that's on her lawn. Everybody get it?
I'm not
but you
complaining.
cannot make him pay for your tree cutting. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Thank you.
So the plaintiff has lost her bid here in court. Step here next to me. Come on in here.
Yes.
You understand here how
I understand
how the law works?
I understand how the law works.
Right.
The only thing, my complaint now is that I couldn't even show her all the proofs that I had of the damages that the tree has caused my house.
Well, that's a different lawsuit. If you're suing for damages to your house,
Yes.
that's a different lawsuit. You were suing him for him to pay for the trimming of the tree.
Right.
Well, maybe you could bring a different lawsuit if you have damages. Are you going to do that?
I will do that. I think I will do that, yes.
How are you getting
Yes.
along as neighbors these days?
He don't want to talk to me. It's fine with me. I don't have to talk with him.
All right,
It's
okay.
quite all right.
Okay, maybe we'll see you back in court again. Okay, for now, head right down this way, okay?
Okay,
Follow
all
Officer
right.
McIntosh right this way.
Thank
would?
you,
All
thank
right, Thanks a
you.
lot.
Thank you.
Well, how are things going to, how you expect things to be around the neighborhood when you get
I feel
back?
bad for her. She's very upset. She's nervous. No, things will be fine. I don't want to upset her. I mean, I just feel bad. She's wired up. She's nervous. She's crying.
She's a little worried.
I feel terrible.
Well, what can you do to make her more comfortable? What can you
Well, I could say hello to her, but I'm not going to pay the bill. I mean,
You're going to say hello to her?
well, I don't know. I mean, she has a temper. She'll tell you off. If she has her nerves up, she'll just tell you.
You afraid of her?
Well, no, but I have a little more respect for her than she has for me.
Okay. Harvey?
Okay, so you can prune right to the property line, but the key is do not walk on your neighbor's property without permission. That, my friends, in the law is called a trespass.